The warning came in a breathless moment, wrapped in fear and instinct, when a tired waitress felt her chest tighten as unfamiliar words slipped through the air behind polished glass and gold-trimmed doors, and she realized that a simple step toward a blue car could become a point of no return. If you believe that kindness, awareness, and second chances can save lives, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Grandma Dearie, because stories like this live and breathe through people who still believe in doing the right thing when it matters most. The female cop had spent her life trusting procedure, training, and the calm order of rules that shaped her days. She stood straight in her uniform, posture disciplined, her expression focused yet softened by years of service that taught her how fragile ordinary moments could be. That afternoon was supposed to be routine, a simple escort, a professional courtesy near a luxury building where everything gleamed with safety and wealth. But routine is often the mask danger wears best. Nearby, the waitress watched from the edge of the scene, her hands still smelling faintly of coffee and soap, her apron creased from hours of quiet labor and unseen patience. She was the kind of person the world rarely notices, someone who learned to observe because listening was safer than speaking, because survival had once depended on catching small details others missed. As the guards shifted their weight and murmured to each other, the waitress felt the past rise sharply in her memory, a childhood shaped by displacement and whispered warnings, by adults who spoke German only when they believed no one else could understand. The language itself was not evil, but the secrecy, the tone, the deliberate exclusion carried a familiar chill. She heard fragments about timing, doors, and keeping things clean, words that did not belong to ordinary security chatter. Her heart began to race, not with certainty but with the unbearable weight of possibility. She knew what it felt like to ignore a feeling and regret it forever. The cop, meanwhile, was thinking of paperwork waiting back at the station and a call she had promised to return. She saw the guards as professionals, men paid to protect order, and the car as just another vehicle. Her life had trained her to face danger head-on, not to imagine it hiding behind polished smiles. Yet something in the air felt heavy, like the silence before a storm. She did not know why she slowed her step, only that she did. That pause became the space where fate could breathe. The waitress crossed an invisible line that people like her are taught never to cross. She moved forward not as a hero but as a frightened human being who could not carry another what-if. Her body shook, her voice nearly failed her, but urgency gave her strength. She did not accuse, did not shout, did not explain in full. She only warned, driven by a deep, aching certainty that silence would be worse than embarrassment. In that moment, she risked being ignored, mocked, or punished, because courage is often quiet and terribly lonely. The cop felt the warning land not as fear but as responsibility. Years of service had taught her that instinct and community were part of the same armor. She looked again, really looked, at the guards, at the car, at the building reflecting a flawless image of safety. She noticed details she had missed before, the tension in shoulders, the way one guard watched the door instead of her face, the way the car engine idled too steadily. Training met intuition, and the ground shifted beneath certainty. What followed was not dramatic in the way movies promise. There were no explosions, no sudden chaos, just a decision to step back instead of forward, to reassess instead of comply. That decision set off a quiet unraveling. Protocols changed. Questions were asked. Additional units arrived. The guards' confidence thinned, their composure, 3/4 cracking under scrutiny. What had been planned as something clean and controlled dissolved into confusion and exposure. The waitress stood off to the side, knees weak, wondering if she had ruined her job or saved a stranger's life, unsure which outcome scared her more. She thought of all the times she had stayed silent in her life, all the moments when fear had dressed itself up as politeness. For the first time, she felt the strange, painful relief of choosing differently. When the truth finally surfaced, it was heavy and ugly, involving networks that thrived on invisibility and people who counted on being underestimated. The cop realized how close she had come to stepping into a trap designed to exploit trust and routine. Gratitude washed over her, mixed with anger at how easily authority can be manipulated when compassion and caution are separated. She saw the waitress not as a bystander, but as a reminder of why policing was never meant to be done alone. Life did not transform overnight for either woman. The waitress returned to long shifts and tired feet, but something inside her stood taller. She had proof now that her voice mattered, that her past had not only scarred her but sharpened her awareness. The cop carried the incident quietly, letting it deepen her respect for the people she served and the unseen ways they protected each other. She became more attentive, more human, understanding that bravery does not always wear a badge. Stories like this rarely make headlines, yet they are the stitches holding society together. They remind us that salvation sometimes comes from the margins, from someone who has nothing to gain and everything to lose. They show how a single moment of courage can ripple outward, altering paths, preserving futures, and restoring faith in shared humanity. If this story has begun to stir something in you, if it reminds you of a moment when kindness or awareness changed everything, please take a second to support Grandma Dear.